Yeah, come over in here. I'm about to channel message. I'm not waiting for y'all neither. First and foremost, isn't it ironic because the lighting? I wanted to see what it would look like if I came in here like this. It's giving. It's very much giving. If you know, you know. All right. First and foremost, before I start this channel message, I need to give an honorable mention to Phoenix Marvelous. All right. I did tarot land message, excuse me, a day or two ago, and I had to delete the message because right after I did the message, God then told me what was actually going on because there's been like this spirit of confusion, and we're gonna rebuke that right now. Now, a lot of what I was saying is true. The Dreamcatcher message I did, me seeing Phoenix in the dream state, for the most part, is very true. She also did a message, and if you were wondering, I don't think she really cared, but like, or she does, I don't know. When I did the tarot message, God told me that Phoenix was going to do a message, and then I would know. I would have like it was gonna. Her message was gonna be a confirmation of what actually was going on. But God already told me what was going on after I did a tarot message, and then I was able to delete the message because we're not gonna hold on to the spirit of negativity, even if the intended source of where that was coming from tried to use me to do so. Because I'm not gonna explain, but anyways, um, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you didn't see the message. Basically, I just felt this certain urge to come in on live and do a message, and I was like, was Phoenix Marvelous trying to harm me in any type of way, right? But the thing is, I was also addressing in that message that I actually like her content a lot. She knows I like her content. She knows from time to time, I'll chime in and say something. Um, but I was wondering why so much negativity, Why am I seeing in the dream state? Like, a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago or three, I had a dream. And I saw Phoenix Marvelous in the dream state. And it was, like, wild, you know? And I couldn't make sense of it because in the dream, it was like, I'm going to say I translated it to, like, she was speaking in tongues. All right? But the action in the dream seemed very malicious. But Phoenix in the dream never touched me. All right, Phoenix in the dream never harmed me. I need y'all to know that. All right. Um. Anyways, the gist of it, I was like, there was this energy, person, place, thing, spirit, whatever you want to call it, that was like, all right, Phoenix is out to get you. Phoenix trying to harm you, like literally harm me or something like that. This is what the intention of the enemy wanted me to believe. Now, before I get into that, there was a time period after she started making her videos in 2020 where I was watching her, and you see how the camera moved, because I'm about to say some real shit. There's a time in 20 or after 2020 when she started creating her videos, and I had found her page. Um, a lot of her content helped me to figure out things in certain aspects of my life that was going on that was unbeknownst to me. All right. So when I first was watching Phoenix Marvelous, there was no issue. Now, after a little while, and like I started getting into the more esoteric realm of things, it's like the weirdest stuff would happen when I try to watch her message. Like, for instance, I'll give a few examples because I need y'all to know the mindset I was in and why I was thinking the things I was thinking. After a while, watching Phoenix Marvelous videos, thank you in the comment section. What I would say is like, for instance, there's this, like, I had this Sagittarius bestie for a very long time previously. The friend was no good to me. I'm not gonna hold you. It was prophesied, all type of stuff, and like in my adolescence, I just chose to continue being friends with the person And the person kept continuously showing me why. You know, God is real. And when somebody give you a message from God, believe it. Literally, I had befriended this Sagittarius previous friend um, last year in 2024. And every time this previous friend would try to come in contact with me, try to block my blessing, try to do something like really that was supposedly try to hurt my feelings, Phoenix would immediately go live and be saying exact what that bitch was trying to do as a vessel for the enemy, and we rebuked it. So I thank Phoenix for a lot of stuff because some of her insight is actually like spot on. Anywho's, so that was one weird occurrence that was happening previously. Then I would 12 on the dot. Undoing enemies. This is what this message is going to do. Mind you, I do not consider Phoenix Marvis an enemy of mine. Now, another occurrence I have with Phoenix Marvis is that I, like, out of all the tarot readers, although I don't do tarot, although I'm not in a Wiccan clan, or although I don't identify as a witch, I really like and enjoy her messages for content reasons and other sorts. So it's like when I started realizing how much I enjoyed her content, it was like something outside of myself or herself didn't want me to view her content and or speak to her or communicate with her and or anything. Is like this isolation type of energy is like, oh, you like this person? Well, you can't talk to them. Oh, you like I had a conversation where I was like, if I can't make a trip down there to link, not that type of link, God forbid, would she like embrace that type of like encounter? And she said, yeah. After I said that, all these weird occurrences started happening. I know it's not for her. God saying is, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, I want to be besties with her or anything like that. I'm just saying like, you know, it's not every day you find somebody with a similar mindset in regards to intellect. Because a lot of the bitches that be around our age bracket, a lot of them be dodos. I ain't even gonna hold you. Now, it was the weirdest thing. It's like I would play her videos and then like my head will start hurting, God forbid, on my life. Previously, I'll play her videos and then like I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I'll play her like I'll be watching her videos for since 20 like her videos from 2020. I said 2020 vision or something. I don't know. So I'll be watching her videos for like since 2020, and then randomly like around like maybe let's say 2022, 2021, around that time frame. Time period. It's like her readings were trying to cause me psychosis, but I know the psychosis was not the intent of the reader. You understand what I'm saying? So for a while I was kind of like, yo, what's going on? Like you like she don't fuck with me? Like why you singling me out? I was thinking like, is it something that I did wrong? Because I've always been nice. You know what I'm saying? I had to encounter one particular person. I'm not gonna mention their zodiac embodiment, but I was watching one of Phoenix readings. And the person came in the room, looked at Phoenix, looked at me, looked at Phoenix, looked at me, and was like, "Whoa, that's like." Was like, "All right, something." Like they literally was like, "Whoa, that's weird." I don't think the person was like had anything against Phoenix or against me, but it's like even in this with a spiritual eye, this person seemed like something was going on in the spiritual realm in regards to me even coming in contact with her content. And a part of the reason I believe at first that was going on is because, like, you know, Phoenix calls herself a witch. You know, and I don't identify as a witch. I don't belong to any coven like that. So, like, it's just like, I feel like wherever the negative intent was like kind of like on some segregation shit. Knowing that I have American Heritage Society that welcomes other different forms of divination and spiritual beliefs. So I found it weird. So I started like kind of like being like, I don't give a fuck. Like I ain't even go. I was like, I don't give a fuck who trying to project psychosis or whatever the case may be. Because I'm me personally, I can't speak for nobody else, but I've been cleared to be clinically sane. Because people will make it seem like it's something that it's not. So like I'm like, I don't care who don't want me to talk to Phoenix, who don't want me to you know, be appreciative of the help that she does in the spiritual community. I don't care. I'm gonna keep watching her. Then I had that dream in that particular year. I was like, So I'm just giving a formal apology. I don't have to, but like I'm just giving a formal apology because me personally, I wouldn't want somebody to like assume bad things about me, and they're not true. Um, and the only reason I'm apologizing is because I found out first and last name. So what happened was, after I did the reading that I deleted in regards to Terraland and Phoenix Marvelous, because I was like, is the Phoenix trying to harm me? Like, what's going on? Because I felt like this strong urge to like do a message. Phoenix trying to do something bad to you. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, that don't even sound of character, to be honest. Like, I know what she can and can't do to a certain extent, but it's like, I know that wasn't what was going on. So after the message, I prayed to God about it, and he started communicating to me. He was like, that person that, you know, fueled that energy. I'm doing a vlog. Thank you. That person who fueled that energy for you to like go do that Terraland message and like try to get you, it was like the person wanted me to go against Phoenix or cause like oh my god, like I don't know if it's like Christian versus which, I don't know what they was trying, like the person's intent was. It was some dumb shit. But all I can say is like God. Basically, after I have a conversation with God, and I was talking about in the trailer message about the dream, and me seeing Phoenix in the dream. God told me after the message was like, all right, after praying and stuff like that, and communicating with God, God was like, that wasn't Phoenix in your dream, not necessarily. See, in the dream, let's talk about it. In the dream, there was like a wooden cabin, tree house, kind of thing going on. The embodiment of Scorpio was very much aspected, getting away from a particular person. So I was seeing in the dream not the authenticity of Phoenix, but I was seeing the projection of what someone wanted for that partnership of me and Phoenix. The partnership, I'm not talking romantically. I'm talking platonic. I'm talking as someone who's a sort of spiritual guru to another spiritual guru. Y'all act like spiritual gurus can't make something, you know, happen. And someone didn't want to see it. I don't know if it's like the segregation of like, you know, witches and covens, and I don't know Phoenix to be of a coven. Me personally, I only seen her do this spiritual community thing solo dolo. So so now from that perspective, God was telling me, like, all right, it wasn't Phoenix in the dream. It was the projection of what somebody wanted out of the dynamic of what was going on in the spiritual community. And me seeing that Scorpio embodiment in regards to a vehicle, you know, vehicle has to do with Aquarius embodiment, prophecy, prediction. So when I seen the purple, I'm like, all right, that's Scorpio season. That's Scorpio season. Mind you, I had this dream like 2-3 years ago. So, and it didn't make sense then. And in the dream, I was telling y'all, like, I seen Phoenix, and not knowing it wasn't completely her. I seen the projection of Phoenix, and like the person was like, it was like they was like an alien, or not like in looks, but like the way they was communicating. Cause you know, not like an alien. It's like I almost wanted to say like I even said in the last message something like about in regards to angelic realm and tongues, speaking in tongues, because in the dream, I thought I was confused because I didn't know what she was trying to translate, because she was doing something that could have either been seen as like talking in tongues or mocking my culture. Peep game. So in the dream, Phoenix was trying to shut me out of like this treehouse. Not, mind you, with the context of now knowing that it wasn't per se Phoenix altogether, but like In the dream, the projection was Phoenix Marvelous locking me out of some sort of treehouse. That means like some sort of group. We all know I don't do tarot. So like that projection itself is just kind of like ignorant. Then as she was, it was so many locks on the door. So that was interesting. You ever seen somebody who be living in fear? In TV and movies, and they'll have like all them locks on the door, and it'd be different type of locks and chains and stuff like that. It like Phoenix has so many of them on there, and what it really was, that projection was like, I don't know if it's like in regards to Christianity or people of God, conversing with different demographics of people in regards to divination. And mind you, this is a dream a few years ago when I was curating American Heritage Society. So this is a projection coming from somebody who didn't want to see it happen. I think it's something like in regards to like segregation, they want people to be in groups and either going against each other or not, accepting of other people's belief systems. But yeah, so like she had them locks on the door, and that told me like not even that, like the having that multiple locks on the door when you could just like tell somebody get out of your residence if that's really how you feel, because protective energy, if somebody's if somebody's in your vicinity and your personal bubble, and you don't want them to be in the personal bubble, all you have to do is ask them to leave. But like seeing all them locks there, I'm like, all right, that means somebody was trying to make something hard for either me or her, or something regarding partnerships to 7th house placements. And then going back to like I said, like, oh, she possibly was speaking in tongues, or I thought she was mocking the African language, because like if like back in the day, people used to make jokes on the Africans. I'm not saying this is what's going on, but I was like, people used to make jokes on the Africans, whatever, like that, and it was like she was like type shit, like I ain't even about to even hold you. So like at first I kind of found it offensive, but by the time I woke up, I think she was talking in tongues, because the tongue was showing to show me like she's talking in tongues. So what I discovered was that and it's crazy, I have to take 20 minutes out the message to even address this, because I feel like it's unfair for a person to project negativity, to try to use me as a vessel to project negativity not only on myself but other people, and then think I'm not going to call out thy name. I've been so hype. About these messages, but anyways, so talked to God about it, like I said, and God told me who the person actually was in the dream that was projecting to be Phoenix Marvelous, and who was projecting not only on me but Phoenix Marvelous. Only it's because of connections. Gemini embodiment. I actually like her content. She's of value in the spiritual community. So this person, even you gotta think about it in context. Before I even say what I gotta say, you gotta think about it in context. For somebody to be projecting not on me, but on Phoenix Marvelous, then try to mimic her image in my dream state to continue the projection, the false projection. This is somebody who this is somebody who like this, like, can you like this is like this is giving like an example of a scenery, God forbid, like if somebody just on the computer, like, who do they know? What do they know? Who are they connected to? This is giving one of them type of weird vibes, and it's like, bitch, be gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's obviously a weirdo, like, and not the good kind. So the first tipper hint was the person was seemed to be using Phoenix image to seem to be speaking in tongues. Well, let's start with one. So confirmation, Phoenix is also a messenger from God, if you ever want to know. And I think that is a interesting thing to bring awareness to, because if I know I'm of God, if I know that God has chosen me to speak in regards to the spiritual community and other things, and I am not a tarot reader, and I am not a witch, but I still approve of Phoenix Marvelous. I'm not gonna say all of them, but like her messages for the most part in regards to teaching, that should say something. Not as I just said that, somebody is afraid. I just felt like it's not my heart, but somebody is like their heart just sunk to their stomach, because that's the overall gist of what they didn't want you to know. Someone didn't want you to know that you could be of God and not necessarily be Christian. I'm not trying to convert people from Christian to witch or witch to Christian. I'm just saying people of God have many different faces. Now, and I'm not just saying a three-headed whatever, but if you watch the previous message, you know what I'm talking about. Now, that was the tongue aspect of it. Now, remind you, I was thinking originally when I was hearing that she was mocking the African, African people and stuff like that. No, it's somebody that I knew of who was actually, unfortunately for them, African. Because I'm African. So it's like the person who was doing so was projecting, and that was supposed to be the tip of hint to know the ethnicity of the person who was sending the projection. So that's why I came on here and to apologize to Phoenix Marvelous, because I don't want to be lied on, and I'm pretty sure she don't want to be lied on either. I'm gonna take it a step further. Mind you, I told you I prayed after I did that Terror Land message, and that's when God started revealing these things to me. And God told me that, honestly, this is why the Terror Land message is not up. God told me keep the Terror Land message up, because when I was doing the message, it's like nobody wanted to view the content, but I didn't care, because I was like, if I'm speaking my truth, it don't really matter. But I knew something was in the energy, kind of not. So basically, God told me, you are going to get your confirmation if Phoenix actually really does want to hurt you or not, because Phoenix is going to come online tomorrow. This was the other day, after I did a Terror Land message. He was like, Phoenix, because if I don't know if y'all know, but until you get to a certain point on this platform, your live messages are not going to directly just come and be live. Like, I don't know how to explain. Like, when you first start on the YouTube platform, when you do live, they hold it for a few hours or whatever the case may be. But once you've like been doing lives for a very long time or something like that, or hit a certain point, let me not say hit a certain point, but like you get to a certain standard, they then let your lives, just after you be live, be shown to the public instantly. So when I did my Terror Land message, I had to wait a few hours. I had to wait like a couple hours. So God told me, he was like, Phoenix is going to do a message after you do your message, and her demeanor, how she comport herself, is going to tell you everything. God was like, she start acting belligerent, is up. God was like, if she chilled, like not like in like temper, but like she not bothered, if she not like acting in a certain type of way, then you know why I've told you that it wasn't Phoenix in your dreams altogether. It was a projection. Sure enough, the next day came. Sure enough, Phoenix made a message. When Phoenix made her message, she was so calm, so tranquil. Even the message that she gave, she had a message for me, and I was like, that's nothing but God. That is nothing but God, because I'm like, so I said, God, who is the person who actually projected on me? And Phoenix did kind of get, like, it was so ironic. It's like God went to Phoenix to tell her what to, like obviously she talked to the general collective, but like, it's like he puts a few charms in there to let me know what was really going on. But he already had told me, all right, like, Phoenix is not the issue, it's somebody else. Because yesterday, well, it's Tuesday now, but like on Sunday, it was like that. Like when I did a Terror Land message, it was like I felt this energy, like this weird energy. I knew it wasn't come from me, but it's like somebody wanted to make me mad because they're mad. And it's like that wasn't my intent for Phoenix. So I'm just like, what's going on? So prayer was done, Terror Land message was done. Phoenix basically cleared it up because she was acting completely normal. So I'm like, all right, I'm not saying that she shouldn't have, but I'm like, God already gave me the confirmation. Like, if she act a specific way, you're gonna know. So I'm like, all right. Once I seen that Phoenix was not at fault, I deleted the Terror Land message, right? So then I'm like, all right, God, give me first, last name, who this person. Like, immediately, God told me who the person was. Now, peep game. I did that message on Sunday. So on Saturdays, I have family members that they drive. Excuse me, God, protect them, but like they drive 3 miles. I said 3 miles. Something about the 8 mile reference, and then like it's like the bootleg version, and something like 3 miles. I don't know. God want me to say that. So now, I have family members who travel 3 hours to go to a prophetess of some sort, right? So what I was explaining in the Terror Land message, well, not the Terror Land message, because after that I started tweaking on TikTok and stuff. But like, no shade. But like, because once I found out who the person was that been sending this negativity, like this is something that's been going on for an extended period of time, for longer than it should have. So like, because like it's like this, like it's like who first and foremost, if you driving out, if you go traveling, let's say traveling, if you traveling 3 hours to go to a man or woman of God, it better be worth it. It better be worth it. And I was discussing on my TikTok basically like this woman of God. I was introduced. I don't know who. You know what? Even the person who introduced my relatives to that woman of God, they need to be reprimanded. They need to be reprimanded for real. Because that's like I think people should actually be reprimanded for what's the word, recommending false prophets. I think that should be a actual spiritual crime. So like a few years ago, got introduced to this prophetess because my relatives, they got introduced by whomever introduced them to them, and they will be reprimanded. Mark my words. And oh, that's what's going on. All right, so there's some other shit going on in the background, yo. Dang, if y'all knew what I knew. Now, I just figured out who was that. All right, so this prophetess, I was backstory. A lot of y'all might know if you've been following the American Heritage Society Multimedia 7 when I'm telling my stories in these little brief settings and stuff like that. Basically, growing up, my family, my relatives, they church hopped a lot. So I was able to like pick up on different type of cultural aspect of things, spiritual aspect of things, especially in regards of the denomination of Christianity. I didn't. My first church ever that I went to was both German and Sweden. I am African. I'm just telling you, I don't worship with Hawaiians. Like, all part of God's good purpose of play. So I learned a lot, but it was like there's this one guy I will never forget. We went to they took. I remember when I was younger, they took me to a church service that was at a hotel, and there was a man with a cape. When I touch you, that's what he said. God forbid. God forbid. So it's like I got to see the real and the fake in regards to men and women of God. And what I've also learned is that when it comes, I don't want to bring it up to, but like, it's true. Children, the before the age of accountability, before I guess before you want to say what 18, 21, listen to them when they be talking about spirituality. I'm telling you, because like especially small children. Because I remember so many times in my adolescence, not just me, but other children around my age group, when I was going to these different events, church events, stuff like that, when we said, yeah, that person not right, yeah, that person is this, yeah, that person is, when the kids used to say that stuff, we was right. We was always right. So, I'm saying this to say, when I was younger, basically, my discernment got strengthened to know. So I mean, I guess that's the blessing of it, of why of my parents church hopping so much, because I was able to use my discernment to know who was the real prophet of God or who wasn't. So fast forward, when we met this prophetess, when they introduced us to the relatives tried to introduce us to her, my spirit didn't like, it didn't feel nothing for her. Actually, honestly, I was saying to people, I was just like, and this is me at a young adult, so it's like, if my spirit don't feel nothing for you, we just traveled 3 hours, something is not right. And mind you, let's sprinkle a little something. This woman church was in the middle of the woods. All right. Add her insult to her injury. Um, so when we got to the church, I quickly recognized that this was not a regular Christian church. Now I am African. A lot of African churches are more prophetic churches. I'll be very honest about that. They get into the spirituality of things, but I've seen it done in a different way. This woman, she took it back like she was trying to get ancestral or something like that. Like because we'd be going to church and they used to be like grabbing like coconuts and smashing them and throwing them across the room. Like yeah, give like she was doing divination for real, for real. It wasn't even church. It was just straight spiritual work. And even to me, I was like, what the? Because there's nothing wrong with doing spiritual work. Trust me, there's nothing wrong with doing spiritual work if you're doing it with a good intent. But it was just like I ain't never seen nothing like that. And then like, and the way she was doing it, and it's not like it was all about intent. Because like you got traveling 3 hours, you in the middle of the woods, and you throwing coconuts. What? And like, and then like something I learned in regards to like tithes and offerings and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong. If a man or woman of God was like, yeah, bring this money, I'm like that's a part of spiritual work. I hope y'all know. When they be telling y'all bring the tithes and offer, that's part of spiritual work. So she'll be like saying some insane prices and stuff like that, and I'd be like, dang. At first I'm like, dang, what y'all do so bad that y'all gotta pay all this money? But then I start realizing, no, it's more to the scenario. Because I've gotten to see I've been to a Caucasian church, all right? And I understand that churches are a big business, all right? So then when I start seeing her telling people insane prices, like, let me not say insane, God forbid, have mercy. But when I start seeing her say, like, these wild prices for her to do divination work and then call that place a church, I'm like, she might be thinking on the big business thing more than, like, rather than, like, actually helping these people. And then I noticed there was a lack of youth at her church. And that's all you need to know. I'm not saying all churches got to have the most successful churches. I'm not going to hold you. Come in the comment section if I'm wrong. The most successful churches usually got some variation of youth in there. I'm lying? Nah. So I was talking about basically. So this is just all things I was thinking but never said. But I was just like, you know what? My relatives like this church. If it's working for them, that's fine. Whatever the case may be. I'm like, this lady, she's not doing anything wrong to me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all. So I'm gonna tell you 2 instances where I knew something wasn't right with this woman of God. The first instance. Which one I want to tell y'all first? Hold on, y'all. Because it's getting good, ain't it? It's getting good, ain't it? It's getting good, ain't it? Anywho's, what was the first instance? So, I'll say this. So I started like I said, I didn't have no interest in the woman. And I don't like to talk about people who claim they're of God unless I know you're really not. Because the type of spiritual work she was doing, mind you, I was already in progress of making American Heritage Society. So I was already learning about different types of divination and stuff like that at the time, whether knowing or unbeknownst to her. So like when I started seeing the spiritual work she was doing kind of looking like dark arts, how ironic about the lighting right now, right? When I started seeing that woman God was started doing stuff in regards to dark arts, I was like, all right, peeped it. And it's like as soon as I realized that same woman tried to keep embarrassing me like in front of the congregation. But like it would be like these scenarios where like you wouldn't know she's trying to do that, but I intuitively knew that. Like for instance, one day she called me up in front of the congregation. And I guess she wanted to pray for me or something like that. Usually, when she would call people up for prayers from the congregation, she would tell them to go lay on the sanctuary of the church. And it's not like I've never seen that before, but even when I saw the people doing that before, I felt like something was wrong in the sanctuary. And I actually had a dream about her, and I didn't know. I had 2 dreams about her actually. I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna get into it in regards to relaying this message to you guys. So like, the woman, she called me up to the front of the congregation. She tried like, I'm expecting her to tell me lay on the sanctuary like she told everybody else, but like I wasn't really feel. I was like in my mind, I was like as I was walking up, I'm like she better not. It sounds so fucked up. I was like she better not tell me lay down on that sanctuary because I'm not doing it. I was literally thinking that. Then she was just like go sit on the sanctuary. So you know like usually in churches, at the behind the pulpit there'll be like chairs and stuff like that for certain people to sit at. So there was like this one empty chair behind the pulpit. So I went to go sit there. So I'm sitting there and she just smiling at me. I'm like, why she smiling at me like that? And then like I realized the pulpit was so tall that when I sat down behind the pulpit, the congregation couldn't see me. So I'm looking at this bitch like, what are you trying to do? Like I'm like, alright. So I don't know what I was doing. I don't know what she expected me to do. I don't know what she thought I was going to be. I don't know what she thought I was about to do up there while I was saying whatever. Mind you, congregation can't see me because I'm behind the pulpit previously, right? Very telling. Like somebody don't want you to preach the word of God, and it's just like and then be claiming they of God. Like what? So the woman like, I guess she was trying to do like a false humiliation ritual, and it was like I wasn't going for it. Because if anything, when I sat in that sanctuary, I'm like, all right, I'm all right. I'm sitting real comfortably, I guess. Like, you're not going to do nothing to me negative. Like, so what's next? So she did what's next. She was like, come here in front of everybody again. So it came in front of everybody. She's smashing coconuts. She's like, they're angels. And mind you, I already have like context, like that's why I get the context before. I've already been around people who are false prophets, so I just intuitively just know. So she's like, the angels are in the room right now, just roaming about. So like something that I'm just paraphrasing. She said something like that. Now, spiritual context in regards to me, since a young babe, I've been able to see like spiritual orbs and stuff like that. I know when like angelic or unangelic presence is like around. So when she was like, the angels, I ain't feel nothing. I ain't seen nothing. I'm like, ain't no way you flexing like that. Ain't no way you trying to lie like that. Like, so I'm just like, so I was so bold to say in front of the whole congregation, I don't see any angels. I just see everybody in the congregation like looking around, like they started trying to look for this shit too. See, that is what I'm talking about. This person who like this person wanted you to be hidden. This person didn't want you to preach the word of God. Yet they preaching the word of God, supposedly, allegedly. Then like it's like somebody like intimidated by you, right? And they don't want you to reach a certain demographic of people because what you're doing is more true than what they're trying to like show the general public. So like because like somebody is literally like the Leo embodiment. Like this person, there's somebody like false prophets are Leo embodiments. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to say it's like a man or something like that because you know Leo embodiment. But like Leo has to do with the entertainment industry. Like there's people that like get up and have like, I'm not saying it's everybody, but there's some people that have like mega churches, and you've seen there's people that will have mega churches and do theatrics for people to put money into the donation plate, knowing that they are not. All right, there are people who pose themselves that they are Christian, and then they'll be your man of God in like a church setting. I'm not saying it's everybody, and then they'll be doing theatrics, so you put money in a donation plate, knowing that they are not Christian, they're spiritual. And on top of that, it's not an insult to anybody. If you think that you're a woman or man of God and you go to church and you're Christian and you think that your spiritual leader is a Christian through and through and is not any way tapped into spirituality, you're dumb. I'm sorry. I have to say it like that. I ain't want to be rude, but it's like, it's no way. It's no way that's like, all right. God saying, because I was like, once I said you're dumb, it was just like, all right, I ain't trying to be offensive, but I also don't really care to be offensive. I ain't gonna hold, because if I'm telling the truth, I'm telling the truth. So the woman got, I guess the woman, like, she didn't like that I, like, basically called her out during the service because she tried to tell me it was angels in the room and I didn't see shit. I didn't see not one orb. You saw the light. I didn't see not one orb. I didn't see like I didn't see like I didn't feel like angelic presence in the room. Nothing. Nothing. The bitch was just looking up at the ceiling. She like 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot. And the angels are supposed to be like 13 feet and anywho's, little jokey joke. Anywho's, so I guess she felt some type of way. So after the service, she started telling other people that she needed to talk to me, whatever the case may be. So I'm like, all right. So she wanted to have like a woman to woman conversation. So that could be a theme playing out right now. It doesn't necessarily have to be church. Somebody might try to approach you on a woman to woman conversation and stuff like that, but like the intent is way off. So what happened was I'm thinking about to have a one-on-one conversation with her, but like she tried to have my relatives sit in on the conversation, and from then I knew you were being weird because like I can't speak for nobody else. But I know me. It's certain things that only God will know about me, so that when He delivers a message to me, when He's giving me confirmations, I will know it's coming from Him. Having a spiritual conversation with me about my life, and you put my relatives in there. At the time it was happening previously, I know for a fact in that scenario, I was like, bitch, you could not be of God, because God know I wouldn't even allow nothing like that. And then let me tell you what happened, and just to prove what I'm saying. So I'm sitting with the woman, and the relatives was in there. Let me tell you what the zodiac sign environment was: Aquarius, Leo. Theatrics. Now, theatrics in regards to prophecy is crazy. Now, God forbid. So, ain't nothing wrong with no theatrics, but like I said, it's all about intent. So the woman said she want to have a conversation with me. Mind you, she just tried to do all that extra stuff during the service. She started telling me she gonna have the audacity to one moment, because the energy just got interesting. So let me tell you what she did. That bitch gonna tell me, and this is very, very unfortunate for her. Very, very unfortunate for her, because to be a spiritual guru of any kind, to be a man or woman of God any kind, and you feel a particular way about yourself and you try to project it onto others, is a very, very, very unhealthy thing to do for yourself. This bitch gonna tell me that I should be perceived as lucky. Because me 7, all support me receives blessings. But like, she's gonna tell me previously that I should consider myself lucky, and I does, because she don't feel beautiful, and I'm so beautiful. You see how the lighting of this, like God told me, like just put the lighting like this right now, because it's very symbolic of what was happening. The bitch gonna tell me as a woman of God, no shade, I know God, like have mercy on me, I guess, but I gotta say what I gotta say. The bitch gonna tell me that I should consider myself lucky, fortunate, because I'm beautiful, and she don't feel beautiful about herself. She actually called herself the word ugly. Now, what also made, like, when she said that, I would just tell you my own bias. I was just disgusted with her, because it's just like, I'm not disgusting as a person, but like, I'm not, nothing about me is disgusting. Nothing on my body is disgusting. But I'm just saying, like, I don't feel that way about myself. And I took the message like, all right, there's people that, don't think the best of themselves. But that was also very telling that it was something about me that brought up her insecurities. Even being the woman of God, even being somebody who is supposedly supposed to lead a whole church. What? So, and then she started telling me about how hard her life was. And, like, I don't mind people having, all right, this, because, like, the reason why I gotta talk about it like this is because, like, Everybody goes through stuff, and I understand that. I've been through some things that I don't think the average person, like I've been through things previously that I don't think the average person would be, willing or strong enough to go through. I ain't gonna hold, but people can feel entitled to their own lives in that same way, right? But it's a difference when you can't start off with the woman saying that she feel ugly and I'm beautiful, and then tell me a sob story. I'm not going to what? Why would I listen? Why would I listen? Now, I ain't never been so disappointed in somebody who called themselves a woman or man of God. Like, cause that was like, what? You supposed to be leading me? You feel that way about yourself? What does that mean for the word that you speak onto our lives each and every day? Like, fuck out of here. So, yeah, that shit was like wild. Really, oh my gosh. I'm supposed to be doing a channel message for y'all, but there's something from that you guys will take. But a long story short, like, if you're wondering why I'm even bringing, all right, so real quick, so like colorism has something to do with it, cause the woman of God, I'm not gonna hold you. She is not melanated. She's of lighter complexion. I don't see colorism. I might see a little bit of racism, but I'm not a colorist. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't see the differential colors and stuff like that. Maybe I ain't going home. Maybe like when I was adolescent and more ignorant to certain stuff, probably could see colorism from the viewpoint of what society was telling us it was. But as I got older, it's like I don't see that shit. So like I felt as though like not only did she view me as beautiful, it was like, oh, and you're melanated, like, and you see why the lighting is the way it is now. So it's like somebody wanted to do you bad. Somebody didn't want you to excel in whatever you had going on. You see how my voices start cracking? This person is saddened because what they try to do to you. Because, this is why I be saying, people be thinking people who are nice and kind are naive. They're thinking you can pick on them. Thinking you can, like, do malicious stuff to them for whatever reason. And it could be any of the reasons I've named thus far. But like these people who are kind-hearted, of nature, compassionate, people who are actually people of God, people who actually walk in God's word and preach it, you can't do nothing to that person. You can't take nothing away from that person. And it's like I said, I was making American Heritage Society when I was making the formulating it in the beginning when I was going to that church previously, not out of my own will necessarily. I was going there, to be supportive of my relatives. You see the light change. So I'm just like, come on. Like, this person is just like, somebody might do something to you because they melanated, you're not melanated, or vice versa. Like, it's like dumb reasons. Like, it's like, I don't know. It's like, you can reach a different demographic than them. Like, mind you, I said there was no youth in that church. But because I'm youthful, I could reach a different demographic and the same demographic she was reaching. And then I found out this woman of God, this old lady, was trying to watch my social media account so she could try to recreate what I had going on. Because what I say to people all the time is even with me, I know people, it took me a while to understand this type of energy where the difference between being influenced, admiration, and someone just like being like basically hateful, God forbid. Why? By the way, that song JT got, if you want to take a ride, like that song is so trendy, it's so cutesy. But you see what's going on in her life right now because she made that song. No shade. Because she said, pretty ass face make these she said, pretty ass face make these bitches want to commit hate crimes, something like that, right? That shouldn't be glorified. Like, if anything, I feel like JT was trying to, like, she might not intend it for that. Like, she probably was just playing on words, like these Sagittarius does. But, like, she don't have no clue what that, like, really means. Like, because like don't amp no shit up like that we trying to like heal from as a like a country. Let's start as a people. Because like hate crimes is real. Hate crimes are not just for the LGBT community. Hate crimes got so many different areas in life where somebody can like do something to you just because they hate you because they can't be you or have your skills, gifts, talents, and stuff like that. It get like it's deep for the insecure. So I'm only bringing this person up, the woman of God, because um there was like I was all right. So this was like this is how I knew like the person was trying. All right, so there might be somebody if you could already had a like your discernment already tell you this person not right, and you kind of left the person alone, or you just decided to go your own way away from them. This person could have been offended by that because it's just how dare you know the truth, and like this person is like this person could use one or two people in close proximity to you to try to like energy harvest and figure out and do divination stuff to figure out what you got going on so they can hurry up and go do it first. And that's what I understood that energy with the whole Terror Land message. I took the message down after praying to God, and then I seen the message that Phoenix did, and I was like, all right, Phoenix is not at fault. But I'm like, but who? Like, I was asking God for a while. I'm like, who's the person who don't like want me to watch her content? Whatever it could be, because like that just one specific person. Why you don't want me to watch one specific person? And that's why I did a Terror Land message. Like, is she trying to harm me or something? Because like somebody don't want me to watch it so darn bad. Excuse me. Still vlogging. Oh, yeah, no problem. They right here. They right here. Yeah, grab them.
Why you?
That's mine. Grab those.
Like,
You didn't see it?
I see it.
Ain't that dark?
It's because the light.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I sure am. Now, back to what I was saying. This person could be using one to two people in close proximity to you to try to, I don't know how they've been doing it, but like they've been doing some sort of like energy harvesting. They tried to do some energy harvesting, divination, using people close to you. It might be in regards to the dream state or something like that. Because like the other day, I had woke up, I was going off. I was mad because like it wasn't my energy. Like what? And then why would you do that to somebody who got Aries very aspected in their birth chart? Why would you want to make it? If you're not an Aries, don't make an Aries mad. Duh. That's very karmatic. Anyways, and it's the month. I said the month. This the week of area embodiment. So it's like I ain't arguing with you. Like it's certain stuff you just don't give a response. But I have to come and talk to y'all about these type of things because like they teach other people things that they might not have known before. So there was one instance with the woman of God. Like I stopped going to the church. I'm like relative. If you want to go there, you can go there. But I'm not joining y'all in that shit. Cause I know what's up. I even had a dream about the woman of God, and I told one of my relatives what her intent was for her. She didn't want to hear me. I said, all right. I said, all right, cool. Then cause sometimes people, especially Christians, when they like get to a certain age, they already set in their ways. What this kid talking to you? I ain't trying to hear him. Like that's how some elders act. Not all elders act like that, by the way. So what happened was I was curating the American Heritage Society class messages. I didn't know how I wanted to formulate it, but I started getting the stuff together. While I was doing so, let me tell you the weirdest thing. My relative, I came home with some toilet paper that said Heritage Society. I'm like, I ain't never seen this brand of toilet paper before. Where the fuck you get? Like, I'm looking at him like, where the fuck you get that shit from? But this was when I was curating the American Heritage Society class messages. So I was like, all right, I played along. Then, like the next week or so, or within the same month, they start talking about, oh yeah, the woman of God, she's holding classes now. I'm like, yo, I'm like, all right, I gotta do something different because even though she couldn't do what I could do, but I was like, all right, I see you. My discernment was right about her. Moving along. I would mention other stuff, but like, I still need to get into the channel message. So when I had that dream 2 to 3 years ago, and I saw Phoenix Marvelous in my dream, and I wasn't certain about what was really going on, like because I didn't really speak about it until like more towards now. It's it was this person using her face as projection, but also let me know that the connection in regards to partnership was there. So all glory be to God that God is using people of different backgrounds to teach His word. Now, let's get into the channel message. It took about an hour to say all that. All right. So we're gonna talk about this one dream I spoke about so many different times before: the warehouse dream, the car dream at night. Because with prophetic dreams, they always have so many different meanings. But even though I got so many different meanings from this one dream, I only keep coming back to dreams if I feel as though I didn't get the overall message and theme of what really is going on. Because sometimes people be trying to throw, God forbid, be trying to throw confusion into a situation so you can't see clearly. Hence, let's get into this 2D catcher message. In the dream, I'm gonna say it like this: in the dream, woman in a vehicle with her family. The driver is a Gemini. The passenger is an Aries. Sister sibling Aquarius. Now, while they was in this vehicle, they were driving on a dark road, and there was you know how they have the street lights and everything. You can see the street lights on each side of the road. All right, those lights are symbolic of being enlightenment, being able to see the path in front of you. Car, I was told by a man of God, is in regards to your home life, your spiritual life, your career. All right. So like in this vehicle, it was supposedly family members, or if it's not your actual relatives, it's your your spirit tribe, your soul tribe. They usually call it. I don't really like using soul tribe words, but like just for you guys to understand what I'm saying. That road was an indication of the Scorpio embodiment. It could be because it's this month of Scorpio season. But that was like open road. And when I say open road, I mean like being able to see your destiny, being able to see what you want coming to fruition, being able to see the miracle blessings and opportunities God has for you. Things you pray about, things that you want, things that you need. God being able to say like, you can speak it into existence. And you have people, and there's certain people that's going to be around you. It could be relatives. It could be people you consider your relatives and they're not. It could be destiny helpers in your life that's supposed to help you on your journey in regards to your home life, your career, spiritually, your spiritual community and stuff like that. Now, mind you, the embodiment was Gemini, Aries, and Aquarius. Now, Gemini was driving the car. It was a man. So it could be. So if you're thinking about in regards to spiritual community, Gemini, Leo embodiment, entertainer of some sort. I tell y'all all the time, I think tarot, not everybody's tarot, but I think majority of people on this platform in regards to spiritual community are entertainers in regards to the intuitive community, spiritual community. I also believe that God had told me something interesting. If you guys care or wonder, is it somebody got an issue with this? I believe, in my own personal bias, I believe that tarot readers do not read specifically for the average person. God would tell me that tarot readers actually read for celebrities. So all these tarot readers you be seeing, and they be talking about all this stuff, and like and a lot of them you'll see them, they'll be like, "You're a celebrity." Yes, they are. Now, Gemini in the driver's seat. There you go. Then you got Aries in the passenger seat. Aries is in regards to partnership in this kind of scenario. Aries, I in the passenger seat. I always tell y'all in the dream with cars that the passenger seat person is the person who's observing what's going on. I told you in this message that I have prominent Aries embodiment. So like this is like what happens when you watch intuitive readers, tarot readers. What happens when you go to church? What happens like what is supposed to happen when these things are coming like when you meet a real man of God, a real woman of God, when you read a real spiritualist, and their duty is to help you. What is supposed to happen is that open road where you're supposed to receive your miracle blessings and opportunities because they're helping enlighten you about things you prayed for, things that you're trying to bring into fruition. That is what happens when you meet a real, true man or woman of God. The person that was sitting next to me in the vehicle was supposed to be like a sister sibling Aquarius. This could be the Phoenix Marvelous thing. It could be something else. This could be like you go to church. You could be like brother, sister. Technically, that woman of God I was speaking about earlier in this, that woman of God I was talking about earlier in this message. Oh yeah, I forgot to even tell you. You want to know what's the funniest joke about this bitch? Like I said earlier, the woman that was like, oh yeah, the woman of God that was trying to embarrass me previously, God forbid, and rebuke. She was saying how she feels as though she's actually ugly, and was saying that I should feel lucky that I'm actually beautiful or something like that, and then start talking about how hard her life used to be, something like that. I rebuke on my life. I could never. You could never hear me saying nothing like that. Anywho's, being a whole congregation saying some shit like that was crazy to me. Anyways. And I was talking about how like she's not melanated, she's of lighter complexion, and why the bitch name is Chocolate. That's all you need to know in regards of colorism. Need I say any more? Anyways, I was talking about the vehicle open road. A miracle is going to happen in the month of November. You're going to be enlightened about some stuff. Maybe others around you, your destiny helpers, your guides, who are supposed to be of assistance to you. They've been enlightened about something or someone or people. Take the message how it resonates. So, in the vehicle, right, is these 4 people, but it's like you got the person who, basically, I wasn't gonna mention this. All glory be to God. This is what all glory be to God. I wasn't gonna mention this in here, but maybe it's something more you need to hear. All right, so when the relatives were going to that 3 hours out traveling to go see this woman of God, the woman tried to take my younger sibling into like her under her wing, make her a pastor preacher of some sort. And obviously I'm happy for her. Obviously, especially coming from my ethnic background, that's like something that's like very admirable to become a pastor, a preacher, a woman of God of any sense, right? But I loved her Jesus much, but I was not like, I'm sorry, like I don't agree with that woman of God. I don't think she's a woman of God, so I was not attending them services. But sure enough, she was getting training with you again. So for a few years prior to that, we had went to another prophetic church, the church I'm in now. I was begging, pleading, asking for years. I'm like, let's go back to church. Let's go back to the church. Because this is the place, like the place I frequent at, the person I call man of God, that's where the majority of the blessings come from. Like, I'm not saying like by myself I don't receive blessings. I always receive blessings. But like, in regards to, it matters who you go to. And I'm using that woman of God as an example of a false prophet. I know the real. I'm asking. I'm like, let's go, Lord. Everybody giving excuse. They even almost to a certain extent was trying to forbid me from going to the church. Some way, Somehow, I got everybody going back to the church. All glory be to God. And when I did so, it was this moment I remember because we have been going to church for a very long time, so I know like they usually pick people from the youth and then they raise them up to be like pastors and preachers, right? So me knowing this intuitively, at the time my sibling was like still going to the other church that was like she had to travel 3 hours for. I knew she wasn't being recommended for certain things in that church that was going to help her. Now I don't want to like use her. I'll use her as a testimony in this message. My youngest sibling, female sibling, she was not able to have dream life for majority of her life, even to young adult age. She wasn't. She never. She didn't know what it was to dream. All right, and then I started getting like as she was still like pastor preaching at the other church. I would like some way somehow God had me have her come to the other church. The one that I actually know is going to really put in the right direction. Also with myself. I just remember I don't know how, but I had recommended her in regards of her preaching abilities. And when I say God turned around that situation because God had her leave that false prophet of a woman of a God and then actually go to the actual church I want her to go to. And it's not like by force. It's because it's like when you know, you know. When she left that church, her dream life had started. Why didn't the question you need to ask in that example and moral of the story is why didn't her dream life open up when she was at the other place? All them coconuts they were throwing. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Could you imagine, like, people, like, God forbid all my life, like, this is why, like, I started the Tarot Land, because it wasn't never to, like, put people down, but to let y'all know there is really false prophets out here. You know? People will really take people money and not bless them at all. God forbid on my life. Anywho's, in the dream, like I was saying, in the vehicle, all the people was in the car. At some point in time in the dream, while driving on the road, all the street lights have went off. So that means like somebody didn't want you to know something, see something. They didn't want your dreams to come to fruition. They didn't want you to have. Basically, they didn't want you to have. They wanted you to be stuck. God forbid my life. And when the lights went off, the street lights went off, everything went pitch black, dark. And you know what happened? 3 people, I guess, it could be an extension of one person. Because that Gemini embodiment we now know is, ooh. Side note, quick message. So, if you are somebody who can resonate with church hopping, having more than one spiritual guru, leader, something like that, there's a false prophet and then there's a real prophet. There's a real man of God and a false man of God. There's a real woman of God. There's a false woman of God. You know, just take me that resonate. The false one was trying to take out your spiritual guru. Like I'm talking like unalive. They tried to unalive him. God forbid. God forbid. We rebuke that in the mighty name of God. And you could never. Because how the fake can't take out real. That's like playing a Monopoly game and thinking like unless you know, but like that's like playing a Monopoly game, taking the Monopoly money, going to go do errands and giving the Monopoly money and looking at them like, what's your problem? Like, you know, like what? God forbid. Excuse me. So yeah, so like it was like 3 people because it was like 3 different arms simultaneously at the same time took the driver, the passenger seat, and the sister sibling out of the vehicle at the same time. Mind you, to add a bit more context, I had this dream when I was like 7 years old. This is one of them dreams that frightened me in regards to dream life because I didn't understand what was going on and why I was seeing it something like this at this age. So the thing and the gag is the person took out the driver, the passenger seat driver, the person next to the person in the car. So somebody who didn't want you to have connections, basically, because the number 3 is very significant. Gemini embodiment: lover, loved one, friend, relative, romantic, platonic, and or business partnership of some sort. Your 7th house placement very significant. This person didn't want you to have any connections, and they didn't want you to be in control of your own life, because the person who drives the vehicle is the one who's in control. I need y'all to know that. Now, mind you, when driving the vehicle, the Aries embodiment, the controlling tactic, was the person who was observing the whole time. So it's a scenario like you just looking at the person like, I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Like, basically the whole time. But the whole time the person's like, I'm in control. I'm controlling your life. Like, trying to act like God don't love you. That's not the case. God forbid. Jesus and God love me. What are you talking about? So, and then was like that's why the person in the dream had that backseat point of view. Cause the person, like, it's like somebody trying to play with your discernment, somebody trying to play with your intelligence in regards to like you not knowing they're an ancient ass person, and you just looking at them like, yo, you really did that. Like, so it could be a prediction about a car, traveling somewhere. Sagittarius environment very significant. Something about woman point of view, observing something that happened. All right. Prominent placements. Gemini, Aries, Aquarius. Someone tried to take someone's family, career, and life away. God forbid, we rebuke that in the mighty name of God. The Gemini embodiment is the protective energy. The Aries embodiment. Now, this is all right. If you want just to narrow down, I wrote notes just to narrow down who's what and who's doing what. The Gemini embodiment is the protective energy. All right. Whoever you go to for spiritual counsel, you know they're an actual man or woman of God. They are the Gemini embodiment. They are very protective of you. That is your connection. Now, the person who's trying to, the Aries embodiment who was trying to manipulate a scenario where they felt as though they're bigger than thou and they're controlling your life, that person is not freaking out. Because you're speaking up, you're saying shit, you're saying, I've been seeing what you did, you observed everything, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. You're going to know who's for you, who's not for you, because there's something about this common energy right now. Because like I said, I asked God, I'm like, if does Phoenix really want to harm me? He was like, Phoenix going to make a message, and when she do a message, her demeanor is going to tell you all you need to know, and she was calm. In my notes, mind you, these two things don't correlate into when I channel these messages, mind you. I had these messages sent for a few days now. So, it correlate, but, I'm just saying when it was, like, curated. But anywho, number 3, that I wrote number 3 in notes. So this is in regards to that Gemini environment also. This person, this protected energy of you, they're going to be very calm when they talk to you. I'm hearing something because, like, JT was mentioned, and when I was thinking about JT, I was thinking of Nicki Minaj. But it's so interesting because today, yesterday, I was doing errands, and, like, the oil guy was around. He was like, yeah, I have this new signature scent. He kind of asked me, but he didn't really ask me. He just, like, swabbed it on my arm. I still smell it. It smells very nice. And then he said, it's called Nicki Minaj. I said, oh, my God. No shade, because, like, if in regard to artistry, talents, and skills and gifts, that's cool and everything like that. But I don't want Nicki Minaj life. No shade. No shade. No shade to you, man. Even she know what I mean by that. It's just like, but I received all good things, But that, I don't know, Nicki Minaj, you making perfumes? I think she did have perfumes and stuff like that. I never had one of her scents. I didn't know what it smelled like. But so this probably is one of her signature scents. Girl, it smelled good. It smelled good. It smelled good. Anyways, Nicki Minaj, if you ever, I don't know if you watch this type of stuff, but like, yeah, somebody doing divination on you, like stink spells or something like that. Somebody wants you. You see how childish these people is? That, oh my gosh. Anywho, I'm rebuking my life. God forbid. Anyways, now this Gemini embodiment, this protective energy, this calm person is like a father figure of some sort. This person might be like a Capricorn or a Cancer zodiac sign. God's saying something very prominent about the Cancer zodiac placement is very like prominent placement is very significant in regards to this like connection that you have. This person who's going through shit because they really tried it. They try to control a scenario, manipulate a situation in regards to you. This person is a Leo, an entertainer of some sort, a man, somebody in the entertainment industry for sure. Or like, or and like this person your sis, but like you might go to church. This is for the church folk. You go to church, they be like, sister this, sister that. Like this person just nothing but theatrics. There's somebody you go to church, but like, they ain't even say deliverance service yet. they this person already catching the Holy Spirit. The sermon wasn't even given out yet. Music ain't even start playing. Somebody very dramatic, very very dramatic. I don't know. God's saying something about like men and women of God who like the theatrics of it all. Like I'm not saying you can't have personality. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when you go to these men and women of God and there's more theatrics than the word of God, there's something wrong. That's what God wants you to know. And this protective energy, this calm energy, who could be like a father figure of some sort, or could be like a mother figure of some sort. Cancer zodiac very significant. Capricorn zodiac is very significant. Pisces also, I'm hearing. Something about like a bro. You might have like a, I was just saying sister, bro. Like maybe like a bro at church. This person could have like Sagittarius embodiment very prominent. Someone or actually a group of people. It could be a group of people or within a group of people. It could be like a Gemini embodiment, lover, loved one, friend, relative, romantic, platonic, and or business partnership. Somebody in regards to your seventh house, like wanted someone else or people to leave a particular person alone and cause some sort of false isolation. And there was a back to center about that, and this person is freaking out about this shit because like if you're not in isolation, then you're gonna get your connection back. If you get your connections back, then that person might be out of a job. Someone seems calm, but actually they're freaking out about something. Something about Capricorn, Leo, zodiac embodiment, prominent placement. Now, weirdest thing ever. So, this like last week was very interesting because I'm not somebody like that. I don't watch TV like that anymore. Once I started, it's very weird. Once I started my spiritual development. Excuse me, I rebuke negativity. Once I started my spiritual development, you see the light? I stopped watching TV for real. Like I used to be like an avid TV watcher. I used to be one of the people like, oh my gosh, the new episodes is just coming on, and like I'll be ready for it. Like I don't watch TV like that. And to be honest, sometimes I kind of miss it because it's like. But I think the reason why I didn't watch TV like that is because like I had so much stuff to learn. I didn't even have any time to like really watch TV. So now I guess like God's like, all right, you learned a lot of stuff. You're doing good. You can watch some TV, guys. You can watch some TV, guys. So the TV, I only watch what interests me, and because like God be talking to me through these like shows and stuff. And I think, and God wants you to know that because what did we discover last time? Aquarius has shape-shifting gifts if you can obtain it. Aquarius also, I learned something about Aquarius placement, and like, especially if you're like a spiritualist, like if you got Aquarius embodiment, so somebody don't want me to tell you this. If you got Aquarius embodiment, prominent placements, you might have, and you're able to have that shape-shifting gift and stuff like that. That shape-shifting gift, a part of that gift, it's like it's levels to it. Excuse me, I didn't mean to karate chop. I don't know what that was about, but like, it's levels to like this embodiment because like the gift that you can get. There's many because like Aquarius is embodiment is like the water bearer, right? So it's like you would think it would be like a water sign embodiment, but it's actually air because it's the gift of speech. And there's so many different gifts of speech. You understand what I'm saying? And the gifts that coincide with that. So I was learning that like the embodiment itself, if you have prominent placements, when you watch TV, God can be speaking to you like that, right? So God was speaking to me through watching a cartoon. I was turned up last week watching this cartoon because I was like, yo, 1 minute into the cartoon, I then threw the phone. Like, ah! I was like, ain't no way. Because like the first minute of the cartoon was something in regards to something that happened to me in childhood that I couldn't really explain. And I was just like, yo. And I actually watched a message from Phoenix Marvelous where she was saying like, she was like, she said something like, it be them really nostalgic TV shows, movies, cartoons that you used to watch when you was younger in adolescence that be so symbolic, especially when you don't know the name of it. When I tell you, I thought this cartoon was named something else. So when I like found it, I was like, I don't know. I just remember saying I don't remember why I never watched past like 1 or 2 episodes because I really liked the show. And the first minute into it, I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, all right, cartoon very symbolic. So I'm like, all right. So it was from this cartoon I was able to figure out the first and second aspect of this dream. I'm like, oh my god. Then I learned something else about the Chinese. All them cartoons, yo, you remember all them animated cartoons we used to watch? I'm talking like Cartoon Network. This is the best example. Do I have to talk about? But I can talk about it. Remember them cartoons we used to watch on Cartoon Network, and then it'd be like Adult Swim, then it'd be like Toonami. I'm not even talking about Adult Swim. I'm talking about Toonami. Toonami. Because those are specifically animated cartoons, derivative of Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Asian culture, so on and so forth, right? So like for the last couple of weeks, I've been eating with chopsticks. I don't know. Chinese culture always was like interesting to me, because when I was younger, I thought if I watched enough anime, I would learn how to speak the language, and then I'll be able to travel to Japan. But it's all right. It's cool now. It's cool now. Like after certain things happen, I'm like, all right, maybe it was good. I ain't at the time I wanted to, but anywho's, I realized that like, also a part of Aquarius embodiment gifts, but like, all right, I don't know. God's saying I could talk about it, but listen, those screenwriters for these anime cartoons, that especially around if you grew up around the age of Toonami, those people were called by God or something else. Or something else. I'm not gonna say they all was called by God, but most of the majority of people was called by God to make these cartoons because in something about I don't know. All right, this because like this theme has been coming up in regards to, like past lives. I don't necessarily believe in past lives like that, but it is something I learned and I took from. So like if you do remember, well, I said if you do, so you need to remember something, and maybe it's something that you used to watch when you was younger. If you do correlate with watching animated cartoons from Toonami, from Cartoon Network when you was younger, hear me now. God told me that those actual screenwriters, the people who create them cartoons, right? He helped them envision the cartoon. You understand what I'm saying? Because cartoons are actually an Aquarius embodiment. This is why you see things like The Simpsons, and you see what I'm saying? So God, decades before you was gonna become who you is, called on these people in a whole nother country. Because I'm speaking from the viewpoint of living in America. God called these people in a whole nother country who have a whole nother context in regards to spirituality. Had to make these cartoons that then weren't just displayed in their home country, but then mass produced in America for children, Aquarius embodiment, to view. Hear me now. God was telling me how basically God helped these creators create these cartoons because there's something about the Chinese Asian, Japanese, Korean, etc., etc. In regards to their spirituality, in regards to like, I don't want to per se say like past lives, but it's like there's certain gifts that they have that because you gotta understand they're still a minority, regardless of the color of their skin. They're still a minority. So if you go back in history, your ancestors or your lineage have came in contact with them, and there's certain few who possess similar gifts to what they got going on in their ancestry and lineage. You understand what I'm saying? So God was saying, He was showing me like them cartoons that these kids was watching in America was kind of like a test study to see who was going to pick up on the gifts. And that's all I'm gonna say. Anywho, so in the second part of the dream, the same woman who was left in the vehicle after these three particular people, your connections, was taken hostage, right? She was left in, mind you, the woman in the dream, she was left in the vehicle. Her connections was taken away from her. God forbid in my life, and it's like in that scenario, mind you, I had this dream when I was like 7. So you can only imagine. Imagine being in a vehicle. Imagine you having a dream. You in a vehicle with people you like the closest to, and then they all taken away, and you was never driving the vehicle because you're, not of age supposedly, or that's what they wanted you to think. This is even like the person who's like negatively trying to project on you in your life previously. This person is like, they're older than you in some sort of way. They're like, like, it's like they talking to you like, you child, who you think you are, like this is the mindset of the person. I need you to just know that. So like, I'm just trying to let you know the mindset. Like, so because like this woman was left in the car, all her connections were taken away. God forbid on my life. You would think that would have been the end of the dream right there. No. This woman, who had all her connections taken away from her, she tracked down the person. She was like, you took my connections. Hold on. I don't know how. There was no compass. There was no GPS. The person didn't use no vehicle. So just imagine. And then mind you, all the street lights was taken off in the dream. So like, could you imagine? And still in the darkness. This is why I was thinking of Psalm 23. Even in the shadow and value, the Lord my shepherd, I should not want. You lead me into calm waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for God is with me. Do you know how powerful that? I didn't even know that's what's going on. And to be honest, Psalm 91 is one of my new favorite, Psalms. But like Psalm 23, my whole adolescence to my adult age, I can recite it front to back to you. All right, that Psalm 23 is one of them scriptures, like for real, because like I don't know, like it's just been one of them scriptures. Like, so in that dream, can you imagine? You couldn't use the vehicle. It's a pitch black dark. God forbid on my life. Your connections was taken away from you. God forbid on my life. And you still track down where your connections was at. No GPS, no vehicle, and then you got to walk in the dark. Somebody just wants you to just not know what direction you're going to. And what does that sound like? I'll give you a moment. What does that sound like? What is that place? Because I'm trying to actually think of it. What is that place they call when you like pass away? God forbid my life, but like when you pass away and in limbo. That sound like limbo. When you can't see where you're going, you can't. It was a TV show. I seen something about that, but like I ain't gonna get into that. It's like this person wanted you to be in limbo in regards to the spiritual realm, and your actual life, like in that. This person thought they was God. God forbid. That's another thing too. There's like, it's not all men and women of God, but there's actual people who will get on the pulpit and then be like, to this day, I don't play. When people, like, I understand people be like, yeah, people be calling each other People be saying, "Yeah, I'm God" and stuff like that. I don't agree with that. That all that Kanye West shit. I'm not gonna hold you. You can say you of God, but saying you are God, that straight violation. Straight violation. I don't agree with it. Um, because anywho's, you can see you of God. You can say you teaching of God. But when people be saying they is God, I don't like. I smooth take that as offensive because like that's like because I think even God would take that offensive because like who are you like to be saying something like that? That's my personal bias. You can think otherwise. I know I'm not tripping on that one. Like because that is not cool. So anyways, in the dream, the woman she actually tracks down her connections that were taken hostage. And this was the one part of the dream I did not understand because I'm thinking Rock of All Ages. I'm like, all right, maybe the song or something like that. I don't know. So that might resonate with somebody. So like the woman, she found the people being held hostage in the warehouse, and the thing was, she was excuse me. You see how the person just like trying to interrupt? God forbid, rebuke them. Now, and dismantle their empire and establishment. Thank you. Cause not me, ho. Now, anyways, this woman was. It was like this big boulder, big stone. This woman was hiding behind as she was viewing where the hostages was taking place at, right? The connections that was taken away from her. Um, I had saw something in the cartoon that was so significant because the cartoon had a lot of spiritual, like like Avatar or like like those Chinese animations, Korean, Japanese, etc., Asian, etc. Like they were always had some sort of moral to the message, um, some sort of spiritual context in it. So like in the, I don't remember what had happened, but like basically the premise of the show at that point, like this guy, he had gained his spiritual abilities. Let's just say that he gained his spiritual abilities, and when he first gained his spiritual abilities, something that he had was called a spirit gun. Like he pointed his finger like a gun, and like this spiritual energy came out, and like it like whoever was his enemies, they got shot down like it was an actual real gun. But then as the cartoon developed, the spirit gun turned into like a big blast that was the size of like a boulder, and he could shoot it simultaneously like it was bullets. Woo! Receive. Thank you, God. And in the spiritual context, that rock, that boulder, wasn't actually a rock, but was spiritual energy. You wondering, people will wonder, oh, I did this and that to them. How are they still able to see? How are they still able to know? Because the spiritual energy that person carries is bigger than what you thought. That spiritual energy that person possesses is of God and is real strong. I was wondering in the dream, how did that woman find her way to the people who actually, the person or people who was trying to do her wrong, or the people that she's trying to help wrong? Oh, excuse me, because this bitch trying to be in the energy. This bitch like fuck off. Now, people be like, how did you do this? How did you do that? And I'm trying to do everything in my power to like. That's the key word, power. Excuse me. Someone like, oh my God, somebody viewed themselves as powerful for whatever reason and felt like they had the authority and the power to make sure that you was going to stay small and stagnant, and didn't know or didn't perceive or couldn't see because they're not of God. That they're not bigger than the program. Didn't perceive that you carry spiritual energy of God, the Holy Spirit, and what that looked like. That was the possibly, because I never seen it in the narration of the dream, but possibly that spiritual energy was the light that was able to see through the darkness. The light to see through the darkness to find her her captors. Sometimes, um, you know, certain people are placed in your life as a protective energy because, like, you know, a certain scenario is like this. You never know who comes to you. Like who would have thought me, grown up Christian, I would get on the YouTube platform, find a witch, not by force, find a witch who also chants the name of God and is actual factual. You see what I'm saying? You never the fuck know. Like, don't judge a book by its cover. So, in this analogy of the dream, like when she found them, in this warehouse, there was two people. It looked like two men. So it could be something about two entertainers, two. It could be two men of God in specific. And if it's not two men of God, it's like a LGBT couple or some. Let me not even say LGBT couple. It's something about gay men. I'm gonna do a message about that another day, but like it's something about gay men in regards to spirituality. It could be a couple where there's two gay men that have like their own spiritual teachings, or it could be a man who is gay and is a spiritualist, and they might call themselves men of God, they might not. All right, there's some sort of secret that they didn't want. It could be about their sexuality. It's some type of sort of secret that they didn't want to get to the general public because obviously they're not a good person. Obviously, you know, but they had left. All right, they had left when the woman had arrived and found, you know, her connections, and her connections were tied up, like held hostage. All right. Now this is the weird thing. Now the Gemini, the person who was driving the car, this is the protective energy, the calm person, the father figure, the mother figure, Capricorn, Cancer, zodiac environment, prominent placements, a brother figure of some sort, Sagittarius placement, very significant. That person wasn't tied to nobody. There's no binding spell on that person. But that person, all of them was like hands tied to their back. So somebody don't want somebody to create. And everybody was blindfolded. Somebody doesn't want somebody to have vision, sight to see, the God-given gift. At bare minimum. Y'all do know psychic abilities are like the lowest of lowest gifts, right? It's like 3 levels, and even within those 3 levels, like psychic abilities is like the lowest. Just saying. I was even taught this. Thank you, man of God. Now, the 2 women, the Aries that was in the passenger seat, the person who was observing, and the sister sibling that was in the taking the back seat, but so it's like somebody is unaware, like somebody wants you to be unaware or something. So it's like there's 2 people. So let's say out of your connections, right? Your connections don't gotta be like 3 people exact as that. Let's say you have even just 1 person that you connected with, and just by that connection, you both are able to manifest a lot of blessings for yourselves individually, right? It's like somebody was more aware than the other person in regards to the spiritual of what was going on around them. That's one. That's why the person who, out of the 2 people who have this connection, right, this partnership of some sort, the person who was unaware was manipulated, was taken hostage. Somebody tried to do some sort of divination and take away like these spiritual gifts, or somebody tried to do some divination where like they wouldn't have control of their own life, because that was the plan was to separate you and your connections so y'all couldn't manifest. Because this could be somebody who actually has Gemini embodiment, if it's not one or both of the people. Take the message how it resonate, because like the whole premise is in regards to connections. It could be something about Sagittarius, but I don't want to take it that far, right? It could be the person could be a Sagittarius prominent placement, but I ain't gonna take it that far. Not like that, but I'm just saying. So it's so interesting to me because the driver was by themselves, but the two people, the one person who observed and the one other person who didn't, who was unaware of what was going on, they was hand tied together, back to back. Something about the Drake song going back to back, going back to back. Something about 21 Savage too, but I don't really know what's going on with that in regards to that song. So like, and also Drake has a song called November 18th, very significant. Um, what is this? I'm like something about sign language. Like I'm holding my thumb. Somebody doesn't want you to do a good job, or someone's saying you do a good job. Somebody doesn't want you to be seen as doing a good job. It's like this person's like, you can be whoever you want to be. You can have whatever gifts you want to be, but you can't outshine me. Like, and it's like you probably not even thinking that type of way. So this is somebody who like is battling. You know what? I had this message I was gonna do on TikTok. I was like, I was gonna say something like, you know how people be saying they be fighting demons. And the premise of that is like, oh yeah, you going through shit, like some harsh, crazy shit, right? Who wants to really fight demons? You know, we watch, and that's where the whole cartoon context come into, because like in the cartoons we watch, they be fighting demons and stuff like that. They got stuff like Demon Slayer and stuff like that. But who really wants to fight demons? Like let's be for real. Who wakes up one day and play? You know what? I just want to give my life to like you just beating up demons all day. Like I mean, if you wish to each his own, but like. But, you know, demons would be in regards to, like, that Capricorn embodiment, but the opposite of Capricorn embodiment would be Cancer embodiment, so something about mother figure. Anywho, so it's like, would you rather be battling demons, or would you rather just be chilling? Like, let's be for real. I don't know, I was just saying something like that. I don't remember the whole premise of what I was going to say to that. Maybe I'll do the video on that day. Anyways. So, two women who was, back-to-back, blindfolded, God forbid, and hands tied to each other. So it's something like, it's like, I don't know. It's like two people need to be able to create for them to both manifest or something like that. I don't know what's going on. Maybe that Gemini energy, but it was two women. All right, here we go. Somebody was trying. So somebody, it could have been in regards to them two men. I was talking about the false prophets and stuff like that. Man of God. Yes, I just felt like a weight lifted off of my back. My back, nigga. Oh my God. So there's a false prophet out here, or a false prophet group. Not group. There's a false prophet, a male false prophet, or a false gay couple that's posing as spiritualists that are upset about women in the spiritual community not being gay, because that takes away from their demographic of people that they can reach. I was gonna do a message. I'm still gonna do the message. I was doing a message where like basically I was saying like I don't have nothing against the LGBT community. Like y'all cool and everything like that. As long as you're not forcing people to be gay and stuff like that, y'all cool. But I was saying like, have y'all noticed the spirit, like the intuitive people that they recommend? Because nowadays, it's seeming like the LGBT, for whatever reason, is starting to have more to do with the spiritual community. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that per se, but I'm noticing like I was on social media and I was scrolling and like I saw like this. I don't know what the guy name is, but like he's a I guess he's pretty good. Like he's a I guess a psychic or fortune teller or something like that, and he does celebrity clients. I think like they were saying he burning. Oh gosh. I mean, anyways, I don't know why God wanted me to say that, but anyways, he was saying like he charged like a $3,000 for like 3 to 5 minutes, or it was like it was either $300 or $3,000 for just 3 minutes or 5 minutes. of his services, and I was just like, dang. And he is gay. I'm not saying you can't be gay and hear the word of God, but I'm just saying, let's be for real. Let's be for real. I ain't gonna say nothing on that. Like I'm just bringing awareness. Um, and then like the Sloan Bella lady, Caucasian lady. You don't really see them like I'm talking about in regards to general media. You don't really see them. I'm not talking about you scrolling online and you just seeing random like psychics and stuff like that. I'm talking about like to like a certain type of rank. You don't really see them show melanated people, heterosexual, psychic intuitives being held to a certain standard. Right now, what I'm seeing is they keep pulling out gay men. I'm not saying they're not supposed to have the gay. I'm just saying this is what I'm seeing. They keep pulling out gay men, Caucasian women, being like, this is that. That's the image of who the leaders of the spiritual communities are. And then it'd be literally like so many different other people saying the same message. I'm just saying. So the two women was a so in the dream in the car the sister sibling was like Aquarius, but the dream then turned to a maternal figure like Aries, and then Leo daughter sibling sister sibling of some sort. So there's something about a particular woman. This is just channel message. There's a mom out here that has a son. He's an entertainer. All right, I know who they talk about. They talking about NBA YoungBoy. Because I was just talking about this. There's a mom that has a son that either wants their son to be gay or is outing them to be gay, like NBA YoungBoy. And my whole thing is with that scenario, even if it is true, what NBA YoungBoy's mother is saying about him being gay, what do you gain from that? Outing him to the whole world. Like I don't know their relationship. Don't get me wrong. I don't know their relationship. But like, if your son is literally the reason why, I'm not saying you was in poverty. I'm just saying, if your son was the reason why y'all got out of poverty the way y'all did. I don't know if she's still in poverty or not. But I'm just saying, if he's making the amount of money he's making as the person he is today, why would you out him being gay? Seriously. Like that wasn't even your business. Now I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna commend her because like if he's out here like impregnating women and being disrespectful with women and he really gay like that I feel like you in the right for outing him. But other than that, I'm like it is kind of wrong though. I'm not choosing a side. I'm just giving both biases I guess in regards to like why that's cool and why it's not cool. Anyways, because I don't respect down low men or women. Say it with your chest. Y'all got too many amendments and laws right now to be hiding. This is the day and age where if you are of the LGBT community, regardless of how old you are, I feel as though alright, I'm gonna say a few shit, like because I like let me get my shit off. I feel oh God, I was like nah. I was about to start wailing on y'all. I really was about to start wailing on y'all because I know some people are not ready for that conversation yet. But trust and believe it's gonna come because people are going to have to start speaking up on certain stuff that don't make sense. All right, because it's so in the dream. In the warehouse, everything like that. So let's go back to the cartoon I was talking about. So in the cartoon, there's just all right. So in the cartoon, as things have progressed, right? Um, earlier on in the cartoon, like the main character I was talking about before, that had gained his spiritual gifts and stuff like that. He had to go some training to make sure that his gifts, stayed intact and got better. Maintain his gifts and get better and stuff like that. And along the way, he met some people who were perceived as bad guys. Now, the first guy actually is a bad guy or was perceived as a bad guy, but he had like this is somebody who like it like he couldn't how to explain it. It's like one of them scenarios where like you born into a certain family, so that's what it is. So like he was who he was based on his lineage and upbringing and stuff like that. But he had his own mission, and that's what made him different. And his mission, he was letting them know, like, listen, I'm not the person you make me out to be, and I'm actually trying to do something good, contrary to popular belief. And he became an associate of one of the main character. Whatever. Now, the second person in his journey was actually a bad guy, but he was cool with the other bad guy. You see what I'm saying? So as the story progressed, there was a scenario where there was another bad guy, but this bad guy in particular, what he was going to do, like he didn't care about the other bad guys. He wasn't a part of the other bad guys I mentioned previously before. What he was going to do was going to fuck up basically everybody, and that bad guy didn't have a care in the world because he was evil. God forbid my life. So those two people who were perceived as bad guys, the one was actually a bad guy. The other person was perceived as a bad guy because of his upbringing. They literally linked up with the main character, although being bad guys, because they seen that there was a bigger picture. It's about little baby racing again. They seen it was a bigger picture to the scenario. It didn't matter bad or good. Just in that moment, they knew that other bad guy was the worst of the worst, and like what he was doing it didn't make no sense for like any elevation of humankind. That's how I put it. And there was this one scenario in the show where in order to like beat the bad guy, they had to go through all these obstacles and stuff like that, but it required teamwork. That's where I correlate the first part of the dream in regards to your connections, teamwork, whether directly or indirectly. So like a part of teamwork, like it was like the enemy had put these building blocks. I won't say building blocks, God forbid. The person had put like this was trying to drop the ceiling on top of them, and it required teamwork for them to get out of that scenario because the building was putting all this weight on their bodies, and a cartoon obviously was putting all the weight on their body. But it's like somebody wanted you to carry heavy burdens or something. So like, God forbid my life. So like, the building was like going to crush them to death, right? But it required teamwork for them to get out of it. So, it's something about that being very significant. Something about a Scorpio, something about the color purple. There's something about this person. It could be about this season or what's going on. Just take the message how it resonates. Something about false energy harvest. Somebody could try to falsely energy harvest off of you by giving you evil eye. Something about a bat is very significant. Vampire energy, rebuke it. Evil eye, rebuke it. It's a Scorpio. Yeah. Something not right with them right now. Their spirit not right. The person was trying to evil eye you because like their energy harvesting tactic didn't work because it was false. What they were doing was false and not of God. This person tried to cause a betrayal of some sort, and the back to sender was sent immediately. Something about a trust building exercise. Something about this could be like this so like this team building, trust building exercise, like it's something about like gaining connections. I just got a message at church in regards to like connections in a certain sense and how to obtain something that you want. And it might be an unlikely pair. You might could like be like earlier I had spoke to someone I actually had an ask class message with American Heritage Society. He's a Pisces, and I would never thought the conversations we've been having would have been had. All glory be to God. Because very insightful. So something about a Pisces placement embodiment and 2 Capricorn Pisces placement. A Capricorn Pisces? Anyway, so something about Pisces and 2 Capricorns. Prominent placement. Something about unlikely pair. It could be 2 father figures linking up for a good cause. Something about Pisces having courage. Something about Virgo Libra. Now, before I did this message, it was so interesting because Astro Queen had popped up in my newsfeed. When I tell you Astro Queen only pops up in my Astro Queen only pops up in my newsfeed when there's some shit going on. I'm not saying she the one causing this shit, but I'm saying anytime some shit is going on, especially with Phoenix Marvelous, she always pop up in my newsfeed. Like, I don't look at her content, I don't watch her content. Like, it is what it is. I know that there used to be one of her spiritual teachers, so maybe there's something about that. Something about Virgo Libra, something about a leader. Some woman used her strength to previously protect others so that everyone could remain safe. So it's something like, it's a scenario like, this goes in regards to a trust building exercise. So let's say an unlikely group of people had to come together to ensure that the entirety of everybody is safe in regards to something. This could be in regards to spiritual community, howsoever, right? And out of the whole group, you like in the part of the dream where I talk about the car, it was that Aquarius embodiment. They was unaware. They didn't know what was going on. That's why they was held hostage to the whatever spiritual attack, divination, whatever the case may be. Now, somebody out of the group of 3 to 4 people, however so many, was one person who was aware to whatever was going on and took a leap of faith in regards to God, in regards of doing something, maybe like a protection spell of some sort. And let's say, in theory, right, this protection spell, whatever they did in regards to protect everybody else, this is given like, for God so loved the world, like type vibes. So for God so loved the earth type vibes. Let's say this one person, right, theoretically, knew when they did this protection spell, it could put them at harm's way, at risk of something, but they still did it anyway. All goes be to God. That person will be forever blessed. And rightfully so, because God seen that kind gesture. Because in the cartoon, like I said, they had that trust building exercise. The ceiling was going to collapse on them. It's like somebody going to put them heavy burdens on somebody bad just for doing the right thing. And what happened was, out of everybody in the group, there was only one person they had to entrust to lead them into safety. And the person who they was leading into safety, it wasn't the guy that kind of like born again Christian. Like, it wasn't the guy that like had a come to God moment and was like, yeah, I'm on a mission, and yeah, I'm not the bad guy you have me thinking not to be. I just was born this way type thing. Something about Lady Gaga Born This Way song. Anyways, it was the person who was actually still the villain. The evil person, the person who had came to help just because like whatever the other evil person was doing was gonna mess up their shit. So it's like it's going to be an unlikely person that's going to come and help. That's going to come and help because this is a decision had to be made within their own moral compass for it to even do so. So like, whatever you're doing, whether it's in spiritual community, whether it's in church, whether it's in your everyday life, you don't know how impactful you are or the word of God is in people's life, because like someone could even start off by like hating you or not liking you, something like that, and then they see how God works in your life. You see how God favors you, and just being in contact with you and what that does for them, they will have a coming to God moment. The person who was intended to harm you or bring you, because I know a lot of like I know it's popping a lot of shit about the woman of God. Have mercy on me, but like, you know, I know what I know. I have to say it like this, but because it's not my burden to carry that other person's insecurities. All right, but I'm not gonna lie to you. There's some things she said in what I would say parable that were confirmational messages, but they weren't exact because I feel as though God did not entrust her to give me certain messages, and I don't blame her. Well, excuse me, I don't blame God. But even God used her to give a message to me. You know what I'm saying? And even curate this message. So, the person you least expect, the person you think probably hates you, the person you think, is evil or malicious or whatever it may be, that person is going to surprise you because this person is going to help you out a lot. And that's the message. I'll go be the God. Oh, wait, there's mine. I like that message. There's more. It's something the saying, the phrase, long time coming, very significant. Something about two people who left while their intent was hidden, back to send their negativity, a calling, shotgun, spirit gun. Oh yeah, I was saying like that the Gemini who wasn't tied to nobody, it was just this man. It's like, all right, so a mother wanted her son to be gay or wanted out her son for being gay, to do, or this mother wanted to bind her son to being gay. It could be NBA Youngboy's mother, wanted to bind her son by outing him for being gay, whether it's true or not. To keep because it's a part of a binding spell. Then there's something about a man or a man of God, a man of God, a woman of God of some sort. Wasn't taught, not held hostage to nobody. Like somebody just didn't want them to see, have the gift of sight, or be able to create, so that the collective general energy, we can receive the message word of God from them. But the weirdest thing was, it was only that person that was by themselves. So like something like somebody wants this person to be isolated. Also, and what was so weird about it was that it was two other people sitting there and held hostage. It was three people, but like the man was by himself, and there was a baseball machine, and the baseball machine was throwing, instead of baseballs, it was throwing bricks. So somebody is like bricks. I don't know about y'all, but like in hood urban terminology slang, bricks is considered, like when you say it's brick outside, it's cold outside, and cold is sometimes is narrated as abuse. So not only does this person not want you to have the sight of vision and prophecy, this person didn't, like, somebody trying to affect your dream life, somebody trying to affect your ability to create. Somebody even went to as far as, because Gemini embodiment is very significant, somebody was trying to do beauty spells on you. This person just wanted to break your face. They so mad because they feel ugly. Fuck out of here, bitch. Did somebody want to do something to your image? Not more so your reputation, but however, like your image, how people view you. I already said that song. That's something about Leo. There's something about take the NBA Youngboy scenario with his mom and what I just said about that situation. There's something about like both of them are doing something behind each other's back, and it's just like they just might have like one of them toxic relationships. God forbid on my life. But it's something like, all right, the Aries was on the left side, and the Leo was on the right side, even though they was held hostage together back to back. This is about like Drake, back to back song, 21 Savage, something about him, something about Leo is very significant. So from perception, visually, the Aries would have been in the wrong because they left or did something, and then the Leo would have been in the right about something specific because both didn't know or couldn't see something specific in regards to this binding spell. Someone had to leave because they were wrong, and someone was helped because they were right about something. Keep that in mind. Woman undoes binding spell on Leo. Woman, an entertainer woman of some sort. It could be the Aquarius of some sort, something like that, or just an entertainer or celebrity. This entertainer or celebrity of some sort, or a man, unbinds himself from the Aries woman, maternal figure. So yes, we're talking about NBA Youngboy. NBA Youngboy's mother did a binding spell on him, and She got upset when the binding spell either broke or because I seen binding spells keep coming up. Cause I seen they was talking about I don't remember, I don't even know what these people are called. There was these two couples on TikTok. They was talking about they were two married couples. The females were best friends or something like, I don't want to say best friends. They were friends for a very long time, and they both married men who were cousins or something like that. And someone was doing a video talking about like because it was a lot of stuff going on there. Like because one of the women had ended up like sleeping with the other guy's husband. It's just a lot. And they were saying like something about like there was a binding spell that was done or some sort of root work or love work that happened. And if you know the story I'm talking about right now, like this shit is a travesty. God forbid on my life. Something about binding spells, but like I guess like back to what I was saying about NBA YoungBoy's mother. So NBA YoungBoy's mother did a binding spell on him. Whatever happened, I don't know what happened. Whatever happened, the binding spell broke, or he got hit, or privy to knowledge of this binding spell. So he disassociated with his mother. And doing this enraged her. So she ran to the internet to call him gay, whether it's true or not. Something in regards to a back to sender in regards to false dark arts. Something about a period of condom. The name Frank, God forbid, rebuke negativity. I said I rebuke negativity. Something about raw, sex. Done by man. Oh, that's what it was. Because, like, I don't know, like, if y'all ever heard about the story a few years back. They were saying, like, God bless my womb, bless my stomach. Rebuke any negativity because no spiritual attachments, please. Excuse me. They was talking a few years ago about Drake. This woman had came and made claim that Drake, after having sexual relations with her using a condom, he had put hot sauce in it, and she tried to sue him for that. And to be honest, it probably was a woman trying to get like a come up off of him. But in the spiritual sense, I remember when I heard that, I was like, what did she do, or what did somebody close to her do that make him think to do that? Because that was divination. If you don't know, that was dark arts. I forgot my life. God wants somebody to know that somebody hiding their sexuality. And it's not me.